big poppin'. Money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me big poppin'. Money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me what the topic.
What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the bar. It's your favorite guys and Doc's into that girl, Henny. Hold on. We got to try that again. Me. Let me sip my water. Hold on. Me. What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the bar. It's your favorite guys and Doc's into that girl, Henny. And today, or this evening, we're going to be pouring it up on more Nolan Wells. All right. So, Mississippi, they have announced that they have completed their autopsy. But what does this all mean? What does this mean moving forward? I'm going to let you know. Also, we have a little bit of news when it comes down to Warren's father. Warren's father put up $50,000 in reward money, which brought the total of the reward for people coming forward with information that would lead to an arrest to a total of $200,000. So there is 200,000 reasons for a person to now step forward and say something if you saw something. Okay. Dang, come on. Don't do me like this. Okay. And then we also have Warren's dad. Get this. He's filing a suit against Ben Crump. Dun, dun, dun. I know. And he's claiming defamation. Okay. I got a feeling that Russell Latino guy is behind this. Henny Glasses in the chat if you agree with that. And then we also have Ashley Cole, Warren's stepmom. She has posted, as you know, on July 9th, she posted all of the threats that they had received up until that point. Well, guess what? There was an arrest made for a California man who made these threats from an anonymous account. Yep, and we got the indictment. So, baby, we got some Henny to pour up. So let me not keep y'all or hold y'all much longer. Let me just go on ahead and get y'all into the hot Henny. So let me get this screen, how we like our screen. Y'all make sure that y'all lean on the like. I think I have too many windows open. I'm going to have to close some windows out. Yeah, I'm going to have to close some windows out. It's all right. It's okay. It's a little laggy. But we can deal with a little laggy. I'd rather be a little laggy than a whole lot of Aggie. You know what I'm saying? All right. So this is coming to us from NBC News, and I'm going to read an article, but let's hear what they had to say. No, ma'am. She said, but no arrest for Nolan. Nope. No arrest for Nolan as of right now. So let's listen to what they say.
Tonight, that state autopsy report now in the hands of investigators. The results have not been made public. The examination of Nolan Wells' body was conducted on July 7th, one day after he was found dead at the Barrier Island, where he spent the 4th of July holiday with friends. This as new video surfaces appearing to show Nolan at different points during the day. The Officer Tatum podcast posting surveillance video from the boat launch where Nolan and his friends departed on the morning of July 4th. The podcast also airing video and NBC News analysis confirms is from Horn Island on July 4th. You see dozens of boats and people in the water. The show's host claiming Nolan is among them.
Now, I want to say this. We've seen videos and posts and all of that come out from different people who claim to have been on Horn Island, or it appears that they were on Horn Island. And out of all of those people, nobody saw anything. Now, we've been saying that, but for Ben Crump to say that today and reinforce that, it just, yes, because I think that's where we all are right now when it comes down to this case, is the fact that we're getting a little fed up with the fact that I'm sorry. We're getting fed up with the fact that we have been waiting for answers. We keep seeing Christine and Elmore Wansley get up here, and we keep seeing them say, if you know anything, please call. We know that there's a tip line, and the sheriff was asking, if you know anything, please call. So my problem with all of that is, forget the sheriff's office for a second. My problem with this is the family is still asking for answers. So obviously nobody I won't say nobody is hitting up the tip line, because obviously they're saying that they're getting those phone calls in, but they're asking for any and everybody. They're trying to connect all of the dots here. And I find it really atrocious that if there is anybody sitting out there that is holding information, who was out there on Horn Island, even if you don't even know what you saw. Like, if you were out there, just say you were out there, call them, say, hey, I was out there, I saw the boys, but I didn't see anything else. They're trying to piece things together. So yeah, call. Let them know something. Like, dang. But anyway, let's let the newscast finish out.
Another clip aired on the podcast appears to show Nolan's friend's boat being towed. Nolan does not appear to be on it. One of Nolan's friends who traveled home on the boat said they left because the boat malfunctioned and that Nolan decided to stay behind. Meanwhile, Nolan's mother...
I'm going to stop this right there. Now, see, now I got to get him. Where's my video? Because you need to hear. Okay. So now I got to get him, because it's looking to me like everyone is falling for the same thing. And you know what? I got a few words for Tatum, because obviously it's not just us, the general public. Let me ask y'all this. Let me do a survey of y'all in here right now. And let me ask y'all something. When Tatum posted what he posted about the boys and the boat and all of that, didn't it give you that that's supposed to be? Because I want to make sure it's not just me. Did it give you a sense of that video that he showed of the boys on the boat was supposed to be of them that day being told? I need to know. I need to know. I need to know. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can pull up my good old IG for y'all real quick, and we go over there and we visit the Officer Tatum for a second, bootlicking Steven. Okay, let me not do that. I said I wasn't going to do that. I said I was going to be nice. But let me get this post up here for y'all, because supposed to be. They had different shorts on also. Okay, so we're pretty much all on the same page here with how it was presented. And then I want y'all to pay attention to the wording on the post as well. Okay, forget about that. Let's zoom in and let's get to here. All right. So, breaking news, exclusive images shared of the Triton boat being towed by another boat after viral sea tow dispatch call. Nolan Wells is confirmed to not be on board. Nolan was seen on Horn Island after the boat left by two witnesses who spoke to law enforcement. These images are being taken from the boat towing them. Comment Nolan to stay informed and updated. So this is leading you to believe that this is from that day, correct? Hold on. Because I'm going somewhere with this. And where y'all are going to see in a minute. Hold on. Uh-oh. I think this is the wrong one. That's the wrong video. I'm about to get myself in trouble. And I promised Tenny Legal I was going to be good. So let me be good. I got to keep my promise that I was going to be good. Because they said, God darn it, Henny, you are not going to, don't do that. Don't get yourself in trouble. So I'm not. Hold on. Because y'all going to see this. Hold on. Let me put it up. All right, I'm gonna tag people. Let's see. Because Officer Tatum is playing in our faces, y'all. I just want y'all to know that. Yeah, he's playing in our faces. And it's about time that he get called out for playing in people's faces. All right. I'm only gonna do those. Oh, wait, one more. Don. Hold on. Okay, you know what? That's it. Because I want the video to go up. So we've seen this, right? We went through this the other day. We saw that the shorts and stuff did not match who it was that it was supposed to be matching. Couldn't possibly be from that day, is what everybody came to the conclusion of, correct? That's what we all said. Uh-oh. Okay, here we go. So that video is taking too long to upload to Instagram. So let me go ahead and let me show you. This is bullshit. Now, if you were in this live the first day when he posted that stuff out, I said to everybody, I said, this looks like a reenactment. Well, I'm going to play for y'all what's loading to Instagram right now, because being that we all are looking at it and it's supposed to be based off of how he worded it, it sounds like it's supposed to be from that day. It also sounds like that's the way everyone is interpreting it, like that video is from the day in question. Well, I called Officer Tatum out and I'm challenging him to show us the whole video that he says he has on Nancy Grace. Pull up a chair because you need to hear this. You're out here trying to play in everybody's face, but you messed up last night when you were on Nancy Grace's show. Let me tell you how you messed up. Because see, you told us that the boys took you on a journey from the island all the way back to the mainland, and they took you around every rich route that they took, and that they also showed you what happened when they were in distress.
They explained to me, they took me on a boat and showed me exactly where they went, where they docked, where did they, stop at, how did they get the bilge pump and the water out of the boat.
They gave you a demonstration. That's what you said, right?
Stop at, how did they get the bilge pump and the water out of the boat.
Yeah, and you posted this. And see, when I saw this, I said, that looked like a reenactment because ain't no water in that boat. Nothing. No, none of those boys who are on the boat resemble anybody that we saw on the boat. Matter of fact, I don't see Warren. I don't see Bart. I don't see none of the people that we know because we've seen on that boat during this time of alleged crisis. So what you did was exactly what I said you did, which was a reenactment. And you're trying to post that to be evidence to try to clear the boy. Tatum, I challenge you to post the information that you say you had on Nancy Grace. I dare you to post that route that you took, along with them showing you, giving you an example or a demonstration of what happened when the boat was in distress. But I bet you won't. Because you see, and if I'm wrong, I'll say that I'm wrong. I have no problems with saying I'm wrong. But I guarantee you I'm right. Because you know that if you post that portion of your trip down there in Mississippi, if I'm right about it, you tried to pull a fast one. So I'm calling you out. And I'm daring you to post that information and prove me wrong. So that video just went to my Instagram because now this news report is saying that Tatum has video from that day. I want to see the metadata. If what he's saying is correct, because that is a clip from Nancy Grace, that is him saying that the boys took him on the same route that they took, and they basically showed him what happened and how they got the water out of the boat. So that would mean that if they showed you how they got the water out of the boat, that they actually gave you a demonstration of what happened, which would explain why they don't have on the same shorts. And I don't know if those are the same three boys that were on the back of the boat with Nolan. But nobody on there looks familiar to be anybody that rode out on that boat with them. We don't see Warren in that video. You're saying that this video was taken from Bart's boat. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong. If you went on that route, and I said this earlier, if he went on that route that he says he went on with them boys, and they showed him, you know, when we left the island, okay, so we're leaving the island because we did see him go out there to the island. So if when on the way back to the island, they said, let's take you on the route that we took, and they took you from the island to El Camino Real Road, they took you there, then took you over there to the Fort Bayou dock and brought you back, and then took you back over there so that the boat could get off the water. If they did the reenactment for you of how they got the water off the boat, that would explain why there was no water in the boat in that video. But again, I challenge him, because if you're an investigative journalist and your job is to get down to the bottom of things, and your job is justice in this case, and you're trying to clear these boys' names because that's what he's trying to do, why wouldn't you post the video that you said you have on your page? So the heat is on. That's not all the boats, but you can go ahead and you can follow suit with all of that. Because when we look at that video, matter of fact, I'm going to do you a favor, Buki. I'm going to do you a favor, my Buki, because those boats that are in the background are not the same amount of boats that were out there when they showed that video of them panning the scene. I'm going to show you better than I could tell you. Let's go here. Where do you see Horn Island at? And all of that white in the background, there's some boats back there. But again, I want to see the metadata. I want to see the metadata. There are boats back here. There are boats back there. I want to see the metadata. Or are these boats? Do we know for sure that all of those are boats? Because there's a boat here, but you can't tell what that is. You can't see if these are boats or if that's a part of the island, because this right here is not aligned with this right here either. But if your job is to be out here on some investigative journalism stuff, why put your whole logo, your whole watermark over the picture that would distort the picture? See, here's the thing. I did zoom in, and here's the thing. I'm calling him out. Anyway, moving right along, because you're not going to disrupt my show. That's what we're not going to do. I've wasted enough time explaining and showing. Now, if you want us to believe that this is from that day, then go ahead and prove me wrong. That's the purpose of a challenge. You challenge somebody. And like I said, have you seen Horn Island? Anyway, like I said, Officer Tatum, if you have that route like you said you do, post the route. Show the world the route that they took. Give us the explanation that they gave. Show us how they demonstrated to you how they got the water off the boat. His words, not mine, because that's what he said. And I'll pull up Nancy. Matter of fact, do I need to pull up? Let me pull up Nancy. Let me pull it up from Nancy, because, you know, you got to make sure that, you know, I show my receipts on why I'm saying what I'm saying. Okay? But yeah, if your job is to be clearing someone's name, then you should not have a problem. Is that it? Is this one?
Related the cause of his death, but even the own pathologist.
You are going to make a young lady, Katie, within context. It is an impossibility unless these people are prophesying that somehow they're saying Nolan's name or projecting that Nolan is somehow injured, hurt, or killed.
Oh no, this
because
is
we
not
have
it.
witnesses that have.
Sorry. That is the one that recently came out. Hold on. Because that one would be this one. Right? Yep. Right here. Hold on.
Kept on SOP. Brandon Tatum joining us, former cop. They told Cito it was sinking. What's the truth? Was it sinking and they repaired it? Did they have a leak and they repaired it and kept on SOP? Brandon Tatum joining us, former cop, now star of The Officer Tatum. Did the young man explain those travels we just identified?
Yeah, 100%. They did that. I wish that people on the internet would have had an opportunity, and they can go look at the interview that I did with Warren, but they had an opportunity to actually talk to these young men to get this in perspective.
He wishes that we had an opportunity to speak to the young men to get this into perspective, but he spoke to the young men and he did not give us everything. Let's continue.
Because some people have no idea how boats function and how they work. They explained to me, they took me on a boat and showed me exactly where they went,
They took him on a boat and it showed him exactly where they went.
They docked, where did they, stop at? How did they get the bilge pump and the water out of the boat?
They showed him how they got the bilge pump and the water out of the boat.
And all of the above. So they were sinking. They were taking on water. The water came up high enough that the batteries weren't working. They had to get a tow to kind of tow them out. We talked to these young men to get this in perspective, because some people have no idea how boats function and how they work. They explained to me, they took me on a boat and showed me exactly where they went, where they docked, where did they, stop at? How did they get the bilge pump and the water out of the boat?
Stop right there. If you have the information, post it. Exactly. Took him on a boat, not the boat. On a boat. So at the end of the day, I stand firm on what I said. Officer Tatum, show us what they showed you. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you've got everybody believing that that video is from that day, yet we have not seen any proof that it is actually from that day. Okay. And I want to just go back and just show y'all.
On July 4th, you see dozens of boats and from Horn Island. When NBC News analysis confirms is from Horn Island on July 4th. You see dozens of boats and people in the water. The show's host claiming Nolan is among them. Another clip aired on the podcast appears to show Nolan's friend's boat being towed. Nolan does not appear to be on it. One of Nolan's friends.
Now, do you see this? And this? Do you see this back here? The island can give the appearance of being a boat. Now, back to what we were talking about, because we were also talking about Nolan's autopsy. Okay. And then I spoke about Tatum because his name was brought up. So I was trying to dig around. Henny Legal was trying to dig around to find out what's what, because the official autopsy is completed in Nolan Wells's investigation, his death investigation. But listen to this article, because it says the official autopsy in the death investigation of 18-year-old Nolan Wells has been completed, according to ABC News. Okay. And that's what we just watched. The findings have not yet been made public. The findings have not yet been made public. The autopsy was conducted by Mississippi State Examiner's Office. Officials said the complete report will now be presented to a grand jury as the investigation continues. So I know a lot of people were saying that the investigation was coming to a close, coming to an end. They were stopping it. Well, according to this article, it's not coming to an end. It's still ongoing. And as a matter of fact, today, July 30th, it just went to the grand jury. But it has not been released to the public. But we know why it's not going to be released to the public, because Angel Myers, the district attorney from Mississippi, has already told us that it was not going to be released to the public till after it's gone to the grand jury. So now my question is, because now you're on the clock, when is the autopsy going to be released? It said, they go on to talk about how, Nolan had disappeared on July 4th on the boating trip on Horn Island. And according to documents obtained by ABC, investigators determined Wells remained on the island after the group returned to shore. What documents do you have? I would love to know. Okay. The documents also state that Wells had been drinking heavily. Oh, you have the same documents that we already went over, which is the internal email that told everybody that Nolan was last seen on July 4th at 6 p.m., that his height and weight, and they gave the longitude and latitude of where he was. They didn't know how much food he had consumed, but they said he was heavily intoxicated. Oh, okay. Those are the same documents that we talked about the other day. Anyway, the case has drawn widespread public attention, with Wells's family continuing to seek answers about the criticisms surrounding the circumstances, surrounding his death. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who represents the family, recently announced independent experts will review audio from the boat trip and analyze tide conditions as part of the family's investigation. Authorities have not announced when the autopsy findings will be released publicly, and investigators have not said whether the report has changed the direction of the case. So basically what they're telling us is they completed it, but y'all still got to wait for an answer. I'm wondering if that means that Christine is going to have to wait for an answer as well as to what the autopsy actually says. Because technically, if they're going to be transparent, then that means that now that it's going to the grand jury, that at least by Monday, Tuesday, Ben Crump and the family should have a copy of said autopsy. Now, I'm wondering if they're going to put a gag order on him and tell him and the family that they cannot release the findings of the autopsy until after the grand jury gives them permission to. But we now know that the autopsy is done. They've gotten back the toxicology, and now it has moved on to the grand jury. About fucking time. But you know what? It took scandal. And that's what I don't like. It took scandal. It took for an uproar, and it took for the audio to come out for things to seemingly get to moving. That's, in my opinion, that's not a fact. That's just what it appears to be to me. Drop a Henny glass in the chat if you agree that that's how it appears to you as well. All right. So it says the autopsy. We already read that part. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So we already read this. There's nothing else to see here. All right. So we're done with that documentation. So now let's move right on along. Where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? All right. All of this is kind of lumped in together, you guys, because it all goes together. All right. So moving in the, I don't know if I would call it the theme of things, because Nolan's family, well, not Nolan's family, but it looks like, well, yes, not Nolan's family, Warren's family. Okay. Warren's family has decided that they are going to file suit against Ben Crump. Oh, yes. Let me get that up here for y'all. Okay. But let's start here before we go there. Boom. All right. So last night, this information came out about Warren's father offering another $50K on top of the $150K that's already out there as a reward for anyone coming forward with information, right? So that brought the grand total of $200,000, because remember, you got $50,000 that was put up by Tyler Perry. You got $50,000 that was put up by Al Sharpton. Then you had another $50,000 that was put up by Terrell Owens. And now you have this $50,000 being put up by Warren Hudson's father. So it's up to $200,000 for somebody to come forward with any information that they have that leads to an arrest. And I think that that is important to say, that the information given has to be pertinent and it has to lead to an arrest. Well, we got that information last night. And then today, this afternoon, we got the information that Warren's father plans to, is this it? Did I already have it? that Warren's father plans to sue Benjamin Crump. He plans on suing him. Hold on one second, because I pulled up the wrong thing. Let me get that up. I thought I had it up, but I didn't. So I tried to go to TMZ. Okay. That's where it is. Okay. All right. Boom. Thank you, TMZ, for your services. They are no longer needed in this particular post, and I'm going to close down my IG because I don't think I need it anymore. So let's go to the New York Post for this news. Dad of Nolan Wells' quote unquote best friend slams family lawyer Ben Crump for financially exploiting teen's death, turning it into a political circus. Now, this was according to the New York Post. All right. So it says the dad of Nolan Wells is, hold on. The dad of Nolan Wells' self-described best friend has slammed the attorney representing the teen's family for allegedly using the tragedy for political and financial gain. Wells, 18, went missing during the 4th of July boat trip to Horn Island, a barrier island 10 miles off Mississippi's Gulf Coast. Before his body was found in the water, there 2 days later. Questions from Wells's parents, Christine and Elmore Walmsley, an online amateur sleuth, have dogged the promising college football players' pals about why they left him behind on that faithful day. Stop. You want to say that online amateur sleuths have dogged them? No, everyday average citizens have had the same question. And if asking a question is dogging somebody, then I guess we are all guilty of that, because everyone wants to know, if that was your best friend, why would you leave him behind? Especially if it's being alleged that he was heavily intoxicated. Why would you ever leave your friend heavily intoxicated behind? I never would. Okay. All right. So the article, there is a photograph of Warren and his dad and his stepmom. And that's his stepmom, Ashley Cole, the judge. And his dad's name is Ben Hudson. Okay. So that is Warren's at-home family. And it says now the dad of Warren Hudson, a 19-year-old who previously told the Post he considered Wells his best friend, was with him on the island the day he went missing, is speaking out for the first time in an exclusive interview with the Post. Now, pause for a second, because if you were here earlier or if you watched the press conference at any point in time today, wherever you watched it at, let me say something. You're not gonna lie, stepmama's smoking. Now, if you remember, during the press conference earlier today, the New York Post asked Ben Crump a question, and we couldn't hear what that question was. Now I'm curious. Let me see. Is this them asking their question? I wonder. Let's see. Let's be nosy.
Okay. The question? I can't hear you.
Okay. So, okay, you guys, there was closed captions on it. I'm going to read it to y'all in case y'all didn't see it. Okay. So this is when the New York Post got up to ask their question. Okay.
Another question? I can't hear you.
The dad of one of the friends of Nolan Wells has accused you of using this for financial and political gain. I'm just wondering what your response is to that.
Okay. Let me respond to that. That accusation doesn't deserve a response. It has no dignity associated with someone standing up for children who have died. We don't waste our time arguing with donkeys. We don't waste our time arguing with people who want to distract from the real issue. We have 3 dead Black young men under suspicious circumstances. And I don't think the New York Post ought to give elevation to distractions like that. This is such an old story.
So that's what they were going off on, because if you watched it, like when we were watching it over here, it was a lot of echo in the microphone. You couldn't really hear too good, so we couldn't hear the people in the audience asking the questions, but that was the question. Okay. That was the question. So Hudson revealed that his family intends to sue Crump. Okay, did we skip anything? I want to make sure we didn't skip anything. All right. Okay. So he says, speaking out for the first time in an exclusive interview with the Post. In my opinion, truth is not Ben Crump's concern. He's exploiting the situation and raising money. Ben Hudson, 56, an addiction medicine physician and father of 6, said of the famed civil rights attorney representing Wells' family. I think this is financially exploiting this entire tragedy and making it a much bigger tragedy at the expense of my family and our community and the Wells' family. Hudson revealed that his family intends to sue Crump for defamation and slander over comments he made since Wells' death. In my opinion, Ben Crump has slandered and falsely accused my son and his friends of murder, and he's pursued what's an obvious false. Now let me read that again. In my opinion, Ben Crump has slandered and falsely accused my son and his friends of murder, and he's pursued what's an obvious false narrative. Okay, I don't know why that sentence was so hard to get out. I think he can expect lawsuits, not just from my family, but from a number of other families who, in my opinion, he's defamed. Okay. Hudson also blasted the Reverend Al Sharpton, whose National Action Network is standing with Wells's family as they carry out a private investigation into the teen's death. Sharpton's involvement is 100% correlated with the fact that we have midterm elections coming up, Ben Hudson said. Now, he's not finished. He says, my family, the Walmsley family, and the families of all of these other kids are being used by people like Al Sharpton and Ben Crump and news outlets as political pawns to win some kind of political favor for the midterms. Thousands of credible death threats and hate messages have been sent to Hudson's family, he claimed, including what he says was a picture of the mother of his wife, Jackson County Chancery Court Judge Ashley Cole, with a comment saying, I hope you all die. Damn. The amount of hate we've received is just disgusting, he added. Hudson said that on the day of Wells's funeral, July 20th, he, his wife, and son Warren all received letters from a law firm also representing the dead youngster's parent. Damn, the dead youngsters. That is horrible. Phew. Warning them that litigation was reasonably anticipated. The letter from Mississippi-based litigation attorney Gary Bufkin, obtained by the Post, warned them against destruction or failure to preserve evidence. Now, we already read all of this. We already read all of this. We read this letter from the law firm already, and we went through what they were asking for on a previous video. So I don't need to go through that again. It says Wells's funeral at Centerpoint Church in his hometown of Ocean Springs, Mississippi, was officiated by Reverend Sharpton, with friends who had been with him on Horn Island not in attendance. Well, wasn't Javon there? Wasn't Javon with him on the island? Oh, okay. Was Javon there? I could have swore Javon was there, and Javon was also at the funeral. Any glasses in the chat if I'm correct about that. Javon was there, right? I don't know. I think I might be suffering from delusion. I've been getting a lot of headaches lately. So, it might be affecting the way that I think because when your brain is pounding, it's hard for you to think. Sharpton got loud cheers as he announced a reward for any information that leads to an arrest and convictions in the case, which has since reached $125,000 with funding from NFL Hall of Famer Terrell Owens and filmmaker Tyler Perry. Ben Hudson has similarly offered a separate $50,000 reward. So I'm seeing the Henny glasses going up. Okay. And y'all, I'm not delusional. Smart guy, you not funny. Okay. Javon and Jalen was pallbearers. Exactly. So I guess it's not $200,000. I thought everybody gave $50,000. But I guess it's up to $175,000. Either way, that's a lot of money for somebody to come forward with information. Wow, so now they all want to help the case? Girl. Child, your words. So it says, meanwhile, Crump led mourners to chant in chants of justice for Nolan Wells and Nolan's life matters. Now, let me just say this. Didn't I tell y'all that did not look right? Well, Byron Allen donated $100,000 to the GoFundMe. He didn't donate to the reward money. He donated to the GoFundMe. And I saw that for myself, that he had donated to that. The trolls are coming, y'all. The trolls are coming. Anyway, I said that did not look good. The way that, let me shut up, because I don't want to ever align with them people ever on purpose. So he says, I'm very disappointed that they turned the funeral into a political rally. How would our children ever be able to attend that? How would our children ever be able to attend that when they put out $100,000 bounty alleging that my son and his friends had murdered their best friend? Wait a minute. Hold on. Pause. Many games I play and I joke and I clown all day. But I could have swore what they were asking for, what this reward money is for someone to come forward and give pertinent, relevant information that's going to lead to an arrest or vindication of whomever, whatever. They want relevant information. And yeah. So I couldn't have read what I just read. I'm going to read that again. This is the sentence that we're on. I want to make sure y'all can see it. So I'm going to scooch it up a bit. How would our children ever be able to attend that when they put $100,000 bounty alleging that my son and his friends had murdered their best friend? How is that a bounty? If your children are innocent and did not do anything, and I'm not saying this in an accusatory way, I'm asking a question. If your children are innocent, right? And they did not do anything, and they clearly said out loud, outright, Tyler Perry donated $50,000 as a reward for information about the case. And Al Sharpton said, we're going to match that and give another $50,000. And then Terrell Owens matched that, and it's a reward. So wait a minute. If you felt like it was a bounty, why the hell would you contribute to the bounty pot? Or is your $50,000 separate from this? Is your $50,000 for somebody to come forward with clearing information? I'm just curious. If you felt it was a bounty against your son, why would you participate in the said bounty? That doesn't make sense to me. Exactly. Mysterious 7, a bounty. That's what that said. I had to read it twice. Ooh, he goes on to say, my son is 19. He is trying to grieve the death of his friend. Meanwhile, he's getting death threats and he's called a racist and a murderer. And the truth couldn't be further from that. Asked by the Post about Ben Hudson's comments at the press conference held Thursday at the National Urban League Conference in Nashville, Tennessee, Crump said that he was aware of Hudson's intentions to sue for defamation. It's a distraction. We're not distracted by it at all, he said. It's about getting to the truth. That's what we want. And that's what we're focused on. We haven't done anything other than ask questions to get the truth. The Reverend Al Sharpton, the Reverend Sharpton denied turning Wells's funeral into a political rally, putting a bounty on his friend's head with the reward offered, or that National Action Network's involvement had anything to do with midterm elections. I don't see how I turned the funeral into a political rally, he said. We never discussed politics. He also said the description of the reward offered as a bounty was an overreach at best, and that he didn't even know Warren Hudson's name until the Post reached out to him asking for a comment. I've been very careful to say that we shouldn't prejudge it as racist, but that we should not. Wait a minute. Now, this is still Ben Crump. See, whoever wrote this and then all of these advertisements in between, y'all need to do better with your online shit. The Post, New York Post, you've been around too long for this. I could have wrote this better without all of these interruptions and reading. Okay. He's Al Sharpton is talking, you guys. So Al Sharpton said, I've been very careful to say that we shouldn't prejudge it as racist, but they should not prejudge it as not racist until the investigations are over, he said. I don't understand the connection with the midterm elections. That's absurd. One has nothing to do with the other. The Post also asked Gary Bufkin for a comment, but did not hear back before publication. Child. Well, one thing that I can say is, and let me just put this here for a second, because we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this right here. One thing that I can say is, they playing them lawsuit games down there in Mississippi real hard, ain't they? Everybody want a little bit of defamation, don't they? But I could have swore I never heard Ben Crump, Al Sharpton come out and name anyone specifically a racist, but he spoke about Mississippi's racist history and then pointed out some of the things that look like a pattern of what has been racist, systemic racism from the past to the present. That's what I could have swore Ben Crump did. But then again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But see, everybody is getting in their feels about this. And this right here, this picture right here, that mother, you see that mother right there? You see that father holding his wife? You see that man and woman grieving? Do you know what's in front of them in this picture? Their son's casket. Yeah. So if everybody is on the same page of wanting the truth to come out and justice to really be served, I get it. The online pressure could be a lot for some people and all of that. But this right here, you're attacking the lawyers. And I wonder if Ben Crump can go back for defamation and slander, because I don't recall him ever saying anything about anyone specifically. But what I can say is they are not lying about receiving death threats, because these were posted by Judge Ashley Cole, back on July 9th. And it shows that this is an anonymous account, and they were leaving comments underneath her picture. Some of y'all may remember this, right? They left a comment that said, open up your insides. Another one that says, I got your email, your phone number, your address. What's stopping? I don't know what else it says. It goes on to say, these two are going to be strangled till their eyes go red and lips turn blue. And it's a picture of their two youngest kids. Now, this is just crazy. This is just crazy. This is just crazy. I don't even want to read anymore. Oh my God. Okay, I did not read these ahead of this, but these are absolutely horrific. And then there's an inbox, okay? And whoa, whoa, hello. This is a judge you're doing this to. Hello. Whoa. Well, it looks like the judge, I left them up for y'all to pause and read for yourselves, okay? But now TMZ did post this a couple of hours ago about a man being arrested for the death threats to the judge. Yes, I am. Hey, Buki, you're actually on the live. You're a part of the replay gang, and now you're here live. Yay. That was a bit much. I'm sorry. That was a bit much. Okay, what is this? What'd you say? You said, let's look at it another way. Wait a minute. I don't want to put it up there. I'm sorry. What if they are the actual account, non-account, making the comments like that? The screenshot, you know what I'm saying? They're good for that. That conspiracy. Well, can't even go down that road, Talia, because a man has been arrested for the threats made to the judge. All right. A California man is behind bars after allegedly sending Nolan Wells related death threats. I don't like the way they wrote that. Don't put Nolan in that. Related death threats to the stepmom of one of his friends, who is a Jackson County judge. Joseph Alfredo Vasquez Demars. Joseph Alfredo has been charged with interstate transmission of a threatening communication, a federal crime carrying a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. Alfredo, what was you thinking? Investigators say, I'm just going to call him Alfredo because I don't know how to say that other name. Alfredo used the social media handle Yai962, which is the one that the judge, not Free Joseph, Swagger, behave yourself in these comments. I'm trying to be serious here. This is serious stuff that we're talking about. Okay? To send Judge Ashley Cole threatening Facebook messages in the aftermath of Nolan's death, which we just saw that was the username. According to the Sun Herald, the charging document includes several messages allegedly sent from the account. Okay? Domarce. Okay, thank you. Thank you, True Scorpio. See, I love y'all so much because y'all don't judge. Y'all be trying to help me figure it out. Thank you. Domarce. All right. One read in part, there will be a package coming to your guys' office in the next few days. It's going to blow you away when you see it, LOL. Possibly best to have the boys there to see as well. Sheesh. The message continued, blood, so much blood everywhere, hard to clean, especially from a boat. But yours will be quick, I promised. It concluded, I got all your info. Not even the FBI can stop this. Once that package is opened, the timer will start. And then you have maybe 10 seconds or less to ask God for forgiveness. Whoa. 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 Not have him some preparation H. I'm done. Well, just goes to show they investigate only the things they want to, girl. We ain't even got there yet. Authorities linked the social media account to Domarce. I said it right. Domarce. By tracing email, IP address associated with it and cross-referencing a date of birth, phone number, and street address tied to the account. You see how that messed you up? You thought by creating a lurker account, as we call it, or burner account that you couldn't be found out. Cole's stepson, Warren Hudson, was among the friends who traveled to Horn Island with Nolan before Nolan disappeared. Warren recently sat down for a lengthy interview with Brandon Tatum, denying any involvement in Nolan's death. On Wednesday, Warren's dad, Dr. Benjamin Hudson, told TMZ he was offering $50K reward for any information regarding Nolan's death. Okay? Now, if y'all know me, y'all know what's coming next. Shout out to Henny Legal. Oh, yeah. Well. Look at what we got here. All right. So, y'all know what time it is? It is document time. But, Henny, all they doing with covering up ish and blame somebody else allegedly. I don't know if it censored you. Tell Joseph he have to send some threats off the Obama phone next time. Girl, we got them documents. What is you talking? All right. So it says the grand jury charges on or about July 11th, 2026 in Jackson County, the Southern Division of the Southern District of Mississippi, and elsewhere, the defendant Joseph Alfredo Vasquez Del Marce. Wait a minute. Hold on. Yep, this is federal. He done caught a federal case, y'all. As a result of committing the offense as alleged in this indictment, the defendant shall forfeit to the United States all property involved traceable to property involved in this offense, including but not limited to all proceeds obtained directly or indirectly from the offense. Further, if any property described above as a result of any act or omission of the defendant. Okay, now let's get down here to it. So there it is. He's not a juvenile. The matter is to be sealed. So they will be sealing this document. So we won't be able to keep up with this case until they unseal it. It says that the indictment transmission of threatening communications holds a punishment of not more than 5 years of imprisonment, not more than $250,000 fine, not more than 3 years of supervised release, and $100 special assessment fee. Now, here's the problem that I have with this, okay? So he did knowingly and willfully transmit in interstate and foreign commerce a communication containing a threat to injure the person or injure the person of another, to wit, a direct message on Facebook threatening to unalive AC, which we know AC is Ashley Cole. Now, it's crazy how the FBI utilized all of their resources to track down a person who is threatening a judge, yet we still don't know what happened to Nolan. So I'm wondering, where is the family and the public supposed to have trust at? Because while we're kikiing right now, or I'm kikiing trying to keep it light because this is kind of heavy. It's sad that people can file lawsuits, people can be found for threats, but the answer to what happened to Nolan Wells, we still don't know. Sorry. We still don't have an answer to that one. She got them threats on July 9th. which was 3 days after Nolan's body was found. And today, July 30th, there's an arrest made. You know what we have in this case? A preliminary report from a second autopsy and the first autopsy just getting to the grand jury. We're being told that they spoke to 60 people. We're being told that they interviewed 60 people. We're being told that the friends all spoke to the sheriff's department already. We're being told all of this, right? But we're not seeing very much in the way of action happening. We don't have any answers as to what happened still. So while I'm not dismissing someone receiving death threats, I'm not dismissing it. I'm not chalking it up like, oh, well, just deal with it. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to. That's not what I'm doing. But what I'm saying is, damn, y'all can move quick on that. And then y'all want the public to just stand down, sit down, stand down, and shut up. Well, what I will say is the state representative out there for Gulfport, Representative Jeffrey Hullum III, gave a comment to WLOX. And it says, a community does not get frightened without a reason. And it does not calm down because someone tells it to. The coast needs what the Wells family needs, an answer, arrived at honestly, and the ability to ask for it without being threatened. Let us not get lost in the process of seeking justice. And I agree with him. And I salute him for speaking out as a state representative. But you also see that he is a state representative of color. And what he says, even though he's not saying it very blatantly out loud, what it's saying to me when he says that they need an answer that's arrived at honestly. That right there speaks volumes within itself to me. You know what else spoke volumes to me? DL Hughley. Now, y'all know I like to react to stuff with y'all. So we're going to be reacting to cousin DL and what he had to say.
So what is it? Why would I trust you? I don't know what happened, but I do know this. Maybe the hang up for me is that they keep bantering, throwing around this word friends.
Mm-hmm.
We were his friends. We were his best friends. Who was it? This young man this young man right here.
If Nolan could dig himself out of his grave right now, he would. No doubt. Nolan would be livid is an understatement. Nolan would never want anything pursued this way at all. I think he would be really upset with his parents about how they went about the situation. I think he generally would. I don't think he wouldn't support it. I know that for 110%. I know he wouldn't support any of it.
Best friends? Like I was told the story on the radio earlier this week. I had a best friend, a good friend of mine named Kevin. And Kevin and I were best friends. We would get into it all the time. 16 years old, he had a great job, moved in with this girl. The girl had a kid by somebody else. There was always friction. One day, Kevin asked me to get his back with him, and normally I would, but this time I got so mad at him and told her to leave the girl alone. We had a fight, an argument ensued. I'm like, fuck you, go. And Kevin got killed. And I was so hurt by that. And a lot of people in the neighborhood, I remember, and I told the story on the radio, a dude named Roger said, you let that boy to drown by himself. My mother didn't want me to go to the funeral because she thought that the people were they were so mad at me. She thought they were going to harm me. He was my friend. And I had to say, because if that's your friend, that's the last time you're ever going to see him again, ever. Ever. But
it was the other way around. Don't tell me you're a Tatum taint thrower.
These young people throw friend around. When you are grown and you understand what the value of a friend, you understand if you have 5 good friends, you have been blessed. And I had to go say goodbye. The fact that you weren't compelled to say goodbye to somebody, the fact that you didn't have any grief or lament, the fact that you couldn't even access and try to ascertain what part you could have played in it, lets me know. I'm not saying they're guilty, but wasn't one fucking friend in the bunch. Not one of them a friend. They can say acquaintances. They can say I was cool with. They can say teammates. You can't tell me a friend. You can't call yourself a friend. You know, now it's such a cliche word. You did BFF, my best friend for life, and this and they even connect the names, Benifer and all that kind of. When you got a friend, it ain't shit you won't do for them.
True.
I'm talking about a friend, and not one of them have done anything. I think the problem we're having is that Mississippi is Mississippian, and they're mismonitoring friends. None of them have acted friendly.
Let me just say this. What you just said, that the Wells family has the Walmsley family has received threats and they haven't moved as quickly on it. I agree with you. Only thing is, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know, but I do know that the FBI said that they were investigating the threats made to the families. So now, if the FBI is not going to be making an arrest in the threats that have happened to the family, and I'm going to get back to DL in a minute, that's going to scream very loud. And I hope they know that, because now you have Bart, who has gone and he has filed a defamation, or he filed a cease and desist, and they're going to carry on to a defamation suit because he received a death threat. Now you've got Warren's family coming out and they're going for Ben Crump and Al Sharpton for defamation because they're saying that they've said these things about their child and their family, when I don't recall, and I'm being very honest and I'm not being biased, I don't recall hearing them say anything about the friend group being racist or any of that. I don't recall anyone calling the friends racist. I recall everyone talking about Mississippi's history being racist. But I see how quick to the draw they are with drawing up these papers. And what I'm really, really, really hoping is that defamation lawsuits go out to the officer Tatum. Because if this toxicology comes back, or should I say when, without cocaine in Nolan's system, I hope that he gets slapped with a defamation lawsuit. I really do. I hope that just as much care and concern is going into the threats that are going to the family. Is the FBI looking into all of those people that are harassing Christine on her job site, leaving her negative remarks that could cause her to lose her job? Thank God she doesn't have any like negative behavior. And, you know, she's from what I understand, to my understanding, she's an A+ employee. Never had a blemish on her record. Yet here comes these people trying to taint her image. That's defamation. What's happening on the website against Christine is defamation. It's slander. It's defamation of character, and it's causing her harm. Because guess what? There's people that are seeing that know about that are now going to be trying to not be seen by her, which affects her income, her livelihood, her reputation. That is definitely defamation. Then on top of that, receiving death threats because she wants to know what happened to her son. I feel like the FBI did fuck up. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like, you know, I know some people are going to say, oh, well, she receiving death threats. Oh, well, I'm not going to say that because that stuff was horrible, what I just read, because I did not read them. I've talked about them, but I did not read them. As we're reading them and I'm looking at them and I'm glancing and I'm not saying nothing, I'm looking, that shit was egregious. Holy crap. If that's what the family, all of these families are receiving, I feel like if you wanted to send a good message, and it's not me being funny and it's no funny shit. If you have a problem with what I'm about to say, I'm just going to ask you to hear me out before you comment, before you get to clacking on your keyboard. Hear me out. If they wanted to kind of lift some of this bad taste out of our mouths for how the investigation is being handled, the first arrest should have been for whomever was arresting the family, because that would have spoke volumes to how seriously you're taking it. But I feel like y'all jumped and covered Ashley Cole because Ashley is a judge. I hope and I pray that this FBI is investigating everyone who has been harassing the family of Nolan Wells. And you can't tell me that it's not happening because we saw it. Now, am I surprised by it? No, I'm not. I'm not surprised by it. Now, I want to get back to what DL Hughley is saying about friends. Taintum. Let me be an adult. Let me not do that. Tatum said, Trayston broke down. We haven't seen any remorse come off of these kids. We haven't seen any regret. We haven't seen any emotions. Even with Warren going back to the last place that he saw Nolan, it was so nonchalant. It was so nonchalant. It didn't, I don't know if they edited that way or what happened. Because we also know that they chopped and screwed that thing so bad. We just kept hearing that was my best friend, and this one is trying to clear it up, and this one is over here trying to prove they're a friend. And I'm not saying show remorse because y'all are murderers and y'all did this. That's not what I'm saying. If I left my friend behind, we go out and my friend says, oh no, girl, I'm good. You go ahead, go home. I'm going to catch a ride with our homegirl so-and-so. Or I'm going to catch a ride. We out with a bunch of friends. I'm going to catch a ride. We good. And we surrounded by people that we know. And I say, all right, girl, I'm going to leave you. You sure you good? Yeah, I'm good. And I leave. And something happens to my friend. Do you know how guilty I'm going to feel? How many of you, by show of Henny Glass, have had this strong feeling to either call someone, go see someone, and you didn't, and they died? Friend, grandparent, parent. It's a guilt that you carry with you. I don't even see that coming from them. This is why we spun the block back to the friends. It presents wrong. The world is watching you because, hey, Dre, I didn't even realize you were in here. The world is watching you because they're watching for a reaction. This is just like any murder investigation, and I'm not calling this a murder investigation. I'm just using this as an example. They look at the friend group first. They look at the people closest, right? Lacey Peterson. I know it's not the same thing, but just follow me on what I'm saying. The world was watching the husband. OJ Simpson. The world was watching OJ. Now, we're not saying that they're guilty or innocent. What we're saying is the world is watching you. You were the last people that we know of to see him. And I say that we know of because all this time, the narrative has been that the last time he was seen was at 3 p.m. Then Javon came out and Trayston came out, and they last saw him at 4 p.m. And we thought before all of this GPS stuff came out that the friend group left at 3 o'clock. Come to find out, they didn't leave until 4:31. Well, okay, so then the call was made around 4 p.m., but it was made around 3:48 in the afternoon. That's around 4 p.m. But 3:48, y'all are sitting there and you're taking on this water, and the boat takes off, and you don't pick up no speed until 5 something, and all these times started coming into play, and now we're looking like, wait a goddamn minute. Then you're talking about this girl, Katie. We don't know who Katie is. We still asking, where the hell is Katie? Katie, please come to the front because we are looking, girl, and we've got suspicions. Okay, it don't mean that it's right, but we got suspicions because they trying to throw him being with you as the last person that he was with. But now there's 2 people that saw him on the island last at 6 o'clock, and that didn't come out until that email, that internal email from the MDMR came out. No, Katie is a real person. She got a whole TikTok and everything. I done found Katie. Hold on, y'all. We got something we about to go into, but everything has been jumbled up, bumpled up, and rumpled up. That's not true, woke for days. Allegedly, that's not true. And I'm not even going to say that out loud because that's the thing that's allegedly getting people in trouble. But that's not her. That photograph, that's not Katie. Okay, hold on. Oh, no, I can't do that just yet. Wait a minute. Hold on. Ben Crump. Let's go.
But this story isn't just about due process. It's not just about the truth. It is an ugly manifestation of rage bait and enragement on social media. And the family has been treated terribly. The friends of this kid and their families have been treated terribly. And now someone is fighting back against these people who get paid per click to create outrage. An alleged enhanced audio of the CETO call that purports to have a background conversation that is suggested sounds like people explaining the murder of Nolan. What is the legitimacy of the audio? The word Bart is in there. And I know real people with real platforms are pointing the finger at your client.
Yeah, so we don't see any legitimacy in a doctored transcript or a doctored audio that comes with a transcript, which is a nice psychological sort of game that people play with garbled audio. I'll tell you this. My client's role was to help drain water off of a boat that reported it being in distress. There were 20 plus people separated between those 2 boats. All of them saw what he did. All of them saw what did and didn't happen. There were 2 credible witnesses at least that saw Nolan Wells on Horn Island an hour and a half after those 2 boats left. And my client cooperated with the authorities from the very beginning, never required a warrant, allowed for the inspection of his boat, his GPS, his phone, gave list of witnesses, and answered every question that was asked. So yeah, people are just fabricating things wildly. And the consequence of that is that you've got people who are in legitimate fear for their lives. Our viewpoint is not, we can't stop the entire internet. But I think we believe that we can do enough to convince people that there are some potentially real consequences if you lie and it puts people in danger.
Okay, you guys, hold on. I got to shut down and come right back. Hold on. Stay there. Okay, can y'all see me? Y'all should be able to see me. Y'all can't see me. Can y'all see me and hear me now? She said yes, but you're frozen. Okay. Well, y'all should be able to see and hear for right now. I know. We are used to this happening over here. Where as soon as I start getting into some things funky and wonky start happening. I don't understand why when they have enough information to pressure on these people, they will not go in and arrest someone, if not all of them, that was on that damn boat. Well, now, wait a minute here, because hold on. Because there's some things going on here. Okay? And the things that are going on here are the fact that number one, he's saying that Bart's job was to get water out of the boat. But didn't they say that Bart also towed the boat? And didn't Warren say that everybody that left with them, they went out with 29 semi people? And that not everyone went back with them? Wasn't that what he said? So, I don't know. Listen, this is another twisted tale. This is another twisted tale, y'all. Okay? In my opinion. Hold on. What is happening? Okay. Sorry, y'all. I had to jump up over here for a second. All right. So, dang it. I think I lost. Where is that coming from? What is happening? Okay, there we go. I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on because I'm hearing other stuff going on. All right. So let's read the article. All right. Nolan Wells' friend's attorney hit primetime TV to slam the enhanced CETO audio. A call that appeared to identify his client, Russ Latino, who represents Nolan's buddy Bart Edmonston Jr., told Chris Cuomo on News Nation he believes there's no legitimacy to the enhanced recording going around on social media, calling it a doctored audio paired with a fake transcript. Latino argued that the transcript is used to convince listeners they hear words in otherwise jarbled or audio, dismissing the recording as unreliable. He also defended Bart, saying that his client fully cooperated with investigators from the beginning and insisting there's no evidence tying him to Nolan's death. Latino also discussed the previously reported online accusations that have spiraled into death threats against the family, adding they are now considering legal actions because people online think it's fun to play Clue with other people's lives. The interview comes the same day federal authorities announced the arrest of a California man accused of sending death threats to the Mississippi judge involved in the Nolan's case. In the Nolan's case? You mean the Wells's case? Allegedly warning of a bomb package. Earlier this week, Latino sent a cease and desist letter to OnlyFans model Kimberly, claiming she's been making doxing Bart and making false statements about him online. He's been in Bart's corner since he recently lawyered up after speculation started circulating over a viral photo of him and a woman social media users believed was romantically linked to both him and Nolan. Bart is the group of friends. Bart was in the group of friends that went with Nolan to Horn Island on July 4th. According to Latino, Bart was on the boat back with the group when they called Cito. The lawyer claims Bart's only role on the boat was to help drain water when it started going down. That's not what Warren told us. Warren told us that not only did he pull the plug on the boat to get the water out, that Bart also towed the boat. Again, the story changes again. Wasn't I just talking about how the story has changed so much already? So now, did he tow the boat or no? We just were discussing how the story has changed so much. Now you don't understand why people... Oh, yes. Thank you for bringing that back up. In the interview, Warren did say that Wyatt was the one that pulled the plug. This is why the family wants that transparency. And this is what stirs the pot with social media. Now, TMZ did post... Where is it? Because I just seen it. Kimberly, the social media influencer. Now, let me tell you something. I think I'm going to be very cautious with what I say here. This is my opinion, okay? This is not based in fact. These are my independent thoughts. They needed to make an example out of social media influencers, bloggers, journalists, because they don't like the narrative. The narratives are not looking good, okay? But let me say this. They could not come after one of us because this case is already racially charged. So they had to go after one of theirs. And she's who it ended up landing on. But she's responded.
You want to sue me? Let me tell you how it's going to go. Come here. Let me put my glasses on. All right. I am poor. I have nothing. I don't own anything. You can't put a lien on property. I have nothing. Okay. So you're going to first have to prove that what I'm saying is false. Okay. Then it's going to cost you so much money. I got free lawyers. You know how many lawyers have been hitting me up, like begging to take the case because they know the publicity. Here's what you don't understand. You suing me, oh, that makes everybody feel bad for me. And guess what? People want to pay me when that happens, baby. And I'm poor. So, okay, worst case scenario, you sue me, you win. Let's say you win. What you going to do? You can't get blood from a rock, dog. What are you going to do? Okay, I'll claim bankruptcy. Maybe I claim bankruptcy, like 4 or 5 times, and I could be president one day. Okay, that's how it's going to work. So do what you got to do.
Right, Droovy. Let me tell you something. I believe they really wanted to try to go after Janetta, which shout out to Janetta. She was very thorough in her presentation. She verbally covered her ass because she said, this is what I hear, my interpretation. Don't take it as fact. Listen to it for yourself. Okay? But they can't go after her. Oh, if they go after her, the outrage. So what they do, they try to slander her character. You got Sarah Fields over here who's trying to bring up her past. Okay? Who's out here trying to slander her name. Hey, Janetta, defamation, baby. Defamation. I can smell it. Defamation and slander. And you've got it coming from multiple layers. Girl, retain you a lawyer. You better call Ben Crump. Oh, yeah. You better call Crump. Because even the lawyer is trying to say that it's fake when it's already been verified to be real. Janetta, lawyer up and start drafting your stuff. Defamation and slander of character. First one you go after is Sarah Fields. Sarah Fields was down there in the Carmelo trial. And according to people who were down there, and according to what we've seen when we saw Neek in her car crying, according to accounts of other people who were down there, Sarah seemed to have been down there causing a little ruckus and was making posts about people, saying things that weren't exactly true or flattering. So she has a pattern, Janetta. That woman's past has nothing to do with what she did at all. At all. Who shut her GoFundMe down? You see that? Yet y'all don't understand why we feel the way that we feel and why we're looking the way that we're looking. And you're trying to tell us that we're not seeing what we're seeing and we're not comprehending what we're comprehending. And you really are playing in our faces. They don't like that. They don't like when we come together, Mysterious 7. Thank you, Nathaniel. They don't like when we come together. They hate it. That's what people who have racist mentalities, that's what they fear. Us being united and coming together, that's what they fear. When I speak of they and them, those are the people that I'm speaking of. People with that mentality. Now, we've covered quite a few things. I told you we would cover what was going on. This is what's been going on. And this is what we see. So while Ashley Cole and Ben Hudson and Warren Hudson and Bart and the Edmonstons are all getting their justice, they're having their press run now. The Wells-Walmsley family is still waiting for answers. On the same day that Nolan's autopsy is completed and goes to the grand jury, a defamation suit is being filed against Ben Crump and Al Sharpton. On the night before Nolan's autopsy goes to the grand jury, a defamation, a cease and desist gets put out against the content creator. On the same day that Nolan's autopsy is complete and goes to the grand jury, Ashley Cole's harasser, threatener, is indicted and arrested. Yet we don't even have any updates on the investigation. The sheriff hasn't even addressed the public, hasn't even gone to the news outlets. The medical examiner's office didn't even address the public by going on the news and saying, what was so hard about someone from the medical examiner's office? See, let me tell y'all how y'all play this game. Let me give y'all a little hint. You don't send Stacey Turner out to talk to the public. You send somebody else to come out and talk to the public. And they stand in front of the camera with the mic in front of them. They say, today we have completed the autopsy of Nolan Wells. The results of that autopsy will be going to the grand jury. As stated by the district attorney, Angel Myers, the results of said autopsy will not be released to the public until the grand jury has completed their investigation. Thank you. Oh, excuse me. A complete autopsy with the toxicology. Thank you. No further questions. What would have been so hard about that? What would have been so hard about Sheriff Ledbetter getting on the news and saying, to date, we have questioned approximately 100 people who were down on Horn Island on July 4th, and we are investigating information. We are also looking into these claims of Nolan being on the beach at 6 p.m. We are thoroughly investigating this. His autopsy has been completed and the toxicology has come back. Both the toxicology and autopsy reports have been forwarded to the grand jury. This is continuing to be an ongoing investigation, and we continue to ask the public that if anyone has any further information that can help us with this investigation, please call the tip line. Did I tell y'all anything? Did I give y'all any information into the investigation when I said that? Let me know in the chat. Did I give any information in those statements that was pertinent to the investigation? Wasn't that general? Wasn't that general? Why are we reading it from NBC News and ABC News and news? Why haven't they? You couldn't go to WLOX, your local station, and give them that statement? The district attorney, Angel, you couldn't come forward and say any of what I just said today. The complete toxicology and autopsy report has been forwarded over to the grand jury for investigation. As I stated before, we would not be releasing the information to either the toxicology or the autopsy until the grand jury has completed its investigation. But the public can rest assured that we are still investigating what happened to Nolan Wells. Period. God damn, let me do it. Who made a video, Renee? And now Tatum coming out saying he got info that it was foul play. I know you lying. I know you lying to me. He's made a video. I know you lie. See, we supposed to be getting up off here. I ain't supposed to be on here still. It's almost midnight. It's close to midnight. Something strange is knocking at your door. I know you lying. Renee. Renee. It's on his YouTube channel right now, Renee. She said, no, don't go. Listen, when I come on at 10 p.m., y'all are only supposed to get an hour and a half out of me. Y'all are not supposed to be getting all of this time. The video is on his page. On YouTube or Instagram? She's lying. People just making up false accusations to keep the race thing going. Why can't we just put race aside and just figure out what the truth is that happened to that young man? We're trying to find out the truth, Adam. But what have we found out? What do we know? And I don't think that we're wrong for asking for somebody. I don't think we're wrong for asking for somebody to address us. Say something. The family doesn't even know anything. Adam. The family doesn't know anything either. Adam, you don't find that suspicious? I can't ignore that this family is still looking for justice and answers. I'm sorry, Adam. I'm sorry. I can't ignore that. You want it to be one way, but I can't turn off my melanin. Yeah. Tell me how to turn off my melanin, and then maybe I'll be able to take race out of it. Okay? Because if it was somebody else, it would be different. The only people that say ouch when that comes out is people who kind of may have a little of that under the surface. Which video is it, Renee? because I'm seeing 2 videos that went up on his YouTube. You didn't tell me if it was YouTube or if it was Instagram. And I kind of feel like we're being baited by him. I'm trying to see because I'm not trying to give this man too much airtime either. Renee, did you answer Renee? YouTube. Oh boy. Let me plug in. Uh-oh. I'm trying. Oh no. I think he's baiting us. Keisha, do you know if it was which video it is? Because I'm not trying to give that man a whole lot of clicks and views. I don't like him like that. I don't like him like that. So I'm not trying to give him too much. Hold on. They just want big traction on his channel. That ain't about to happen. Hold on, because I'm about to see for myself. Okay, yeah, no, I don't see it. If he did say it, I'll wait for somebody else to play it. How about that? What we are gonna do though is we are going to go back to our cousin DL for a little while, and then we're going to wrap it up for the night because it's getting kind of late. And it's almost Apple Juice's birthday. My baby is turning 18, you guys. I don't have any kids anymore. I've got young adults and adults. Young adults and adults. That's what I got. I can't believe it. 18. Sheesh. All right. So let's get into it. Let's finish up with Cousin DL.
Them have done the things that we associate with friendship.
Right. They held on to the phone.
Right.
I think they're being advised or just told you can't be there. Except when Officer Tatum comes through. They've been welcomed to an interview.
I would say this. When you hear, they have a scrubbed audio, right? So this is a scrubbed audio.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
They're threatening the woman who scrubbed the audio. Why is it that black women and black men are the ones who are moving this case forward? Why is it that it was his mother that had to find his phone and his keys? Why is it that it was a black woman who worked in the audio industry that had to scrub the audio? Why is it that Ben and Al had to show up there? I'll tell you this, Nancy Grace is there. Nancy Grace has tried 100 felony trials, and she thinks something's suspicious. Because it is.
Why wouldn't you think something was suspicious when you have an independent autopsy and yet you don't get the throat and you don't get the lungs.
The lungs. Here's how I know something happened. Because the easiest thing to do if they have the lungs would be to know if there was water in them. Then they could say he drowned. Now, all the other places we get into, at least you would know he drowned. We're not even getting that. Right. And one thing, if you're gonna lie now, you can't. I'll tell you this: Nancy Grace is there. Nancy Grace has tried 100 felony trials, and she thinks something's suspicious because it is.
Why wouldn't you think something was suspicious when you have an independent autopsy and yet you don't get the throat and you don't get the lungs?
The lungs. Here's how I know something happened. Because the easiest thing to do if they have the lungs would be to know if there was water in them. Then they could say he drowned. Now, all the other places we get into, at least you would know he drowned. We're not even getting that. Right. And one thing, if you're gonna lie now, you can't let black people watch TV now, because now we don't all watch it.
Forensic Files, episode 302.
Yes, Law and Order. We know all of it.
Fluid in his lungs.
Yes. I know about the mitochondrial DNA, nigga. But just in everyday parlance, people are aware of these things where they wouldn't have been before. Why are you holding on to the key? We can tell if something happened to his throat. We can tell if something happened to his skull. We can tell if there are hemorrhages in his eyes. We can tell if he got lungs. Why is it that you're holding on to things that really get to the heart of what happened to this?
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I was curious about the eyes as well, because I didn't see anything in the autopsy that spoke to the eyes, right? They told us about no water being in the lungs because the lungs had already been dissected, and so had the stomach. So the contents of the stomach was not even shared. But I wondered about the eyes. Like, did they get a chance to examine the eyes? But I also said that I felt like Ben Crump and them was holding back information from their autopsy because they didn't want to tell everything that they had discovered as well. Because you said the organs accompany the body except the neck structure. So to say that the organs accompany the body in the body cavity would mean that the organs were there. So I don't know, but that was something I wondered about too, the eyes.
Yeah, man.
And I also think the biggest question is, why have investigators not pulled these kids together and spoken to them? That's what I don't understand. You have the audio, like you said, the scrubbed audio, where they called in to say that they were sinking, but you can clearly hear that their friend is in distress in the back, but they never mentioned it to the operator.
And you know what they never did? They never challenged that was the case. What they did was, they started threatening the girl and pulling up her criminal history. Nothing. Mississippi is Mississippi.
Right.
And the thing.
And here's the thing too, right? No one has come out as an official and spoken on this audio. They've threatened Janetta and filed a defamation lawsuit, a cease and desist, or at least they're threatening a defamation lawsuit. A cease and desist has gone out on a content creator, and an arrest has been made for people making threats against the family of the friends. But no official has come out and challenged that audio. See what I'm saying?
Everything is going the way it usually does, except now black people are more diligent. The first thing they said was, what about all the black people that killed black people in Chicago? That's the first thing they say. A lot of them go to jail. A lot of them go like if they instantly try to devalue our lives. So we'll go, oh, it's okay now. What it is all of us have children. A lot of us have children, and to have a child come up lost with no answers is a pain that no one should have to go through. And as a matter of practice, this state and other states in America have a tendency to do it by rote. And this time, no. This time, no. Remember that if you are going to be at the city.
Okay. Dennis, who are you talking about? Because I've seen you saying something about a Bertram is a maker of high-end boats and yachts. That's impossible. 20 seconds extra from the original is impossible. Unless they're talking about the portion that picks up before the call, that's a lie. Because TMZ had the whole thing. That's a lie. It's a lie from the pits of hell. It's a lie. The boat was seen leaving the island at 6 p.m. by a source that left the island themselves at 7:30. Where's that information at? What do you mean? That was the other audio, not the real one. What do you mean? That whole audio. Hold on. What y'all not going to do is play around. Hold on. It's only hell and armpits. What are you talking about? Let me bring you over here. Let me show you something. You see this? Six days ago. You see that? 6 days ago. Do you see where it says 6 days ago? 6 days ago. I put this audio out. See there, full uncut audio of the distress call for a tow of the tie line. It should say the Triton, the boat driven by Bart. That I had, oh no, you don't want to do that. I put that out. So you can't tell me that that audio is not real. And then I came back because people were complaining, and that was 5 days later, and I put this out.
To connect you.
Did you see that? That little 20 seconds I think you're talking about? Let me show you. It's silent.
To connect you.
CETO Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either Jerry Atkerson. I think it's Jerry Atkerson. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't have the tag on
Unless you
here.
have a membership number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at
All right. And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's
How
on
many?
board.
All right. Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look.
If not, I can send you a text message.
North. All right, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm available.
North 30 degrees. By 4672.
All right, 4672. All right, and you were breaking up a little bit. Can you just repeat it one more time to make sure I have it correct?
Sorry, look.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what?
So you're breaking up. If you need assistance, do you have a VHF radio?
Yeah, we do not have a VHF radio.
All right, well, let's try to get you going because you don't have good cell phone reception. Can you verify your coordinates one more time?
Okay, my coordinates are 30 degrees by 14.684 north, and then west by 88 degrees by 46.79.
Right, looks like you're on Horn Island, correct? Are you
Yes,
on
we are
Horn
at Horn
Island?
Island. Yes.
All right, is the boat sinking or you have it aground?
We are sinking, yes.
Is it aground is the question?
No, we're not aground. We are in 17 foot of water. We're in 31 foot of water.
All right, have to ask. What do you want to do? Do you want to be towed back?
I want to get this boat unsank and towed back, yes.
All right, where would you like it towed to, sir?
You can tow it to Ocean Springs Harbor, or Fort Bayou Lawn.
All right, how many adults and children on board?
No, there's no children.
So, is there anybody on board? How many adults, sir? That was the question. Hello, can you hear me?
Gotta jump in and pull the plug, Bart, while you're going.
Okay, so I'm going to stop the audio there. But yeah, all of that, an additional 20 seconds and all of that, I don't know where all of that is coming from, but you know. Anyway, it's midnight and y'all have kept me on here for 2 hours. So now everybody in the chat has to wish Apple Juice a happy birthday. She's 18. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. They're telling you happy birthday. Yay, my baby turned 18. Juice is in her room right now. Like, she just came to have me sing happy birthday really quick to her. She's on the phone with her friends. Just that quick. She's on her phone like, yeah. So you guys may not see me tomorrow. You may see me tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. I'll be back. And then I don't know if I'll be here for 10 p.m. But if I'm not, then you guys know why. Thank you so very much for tapping in and tuning in. I appreciate you. It's always a funky good time when I come on here with y'all. Yes. So I will see you all a little later on. When y'all rest well. Remember that love is always love. And I love each and every one of y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace, everybody.